What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Redline Reactions. I'm Evan, and apparently I've been living under a rock. See, I love Disturbed. I love them. Their first album, The Sickness, came out when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that. And I was obsessed with it. I think everybody was. Stupefied, Down with the Sickness is incredible. And their second and third albums, I didn't really get into, but their fourth album, Indestructible, in like 2007, 2008, obsessed. But that was the hard cutoff for me. Then I have a bunch of people telling me I have to watch this video of David Draiman and Disturbed performing live on Conan, doing a cover of The Sound of Silence. And I'm like, when did that happen? They're like, over a decade ago. Good God. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm really excited. Yeah, we'll see what he's got 10 years later.
Please welcome Disturbed!
He's fired up.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stared by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, that was the control that he has. Right? I've said it before in another video, but I have a a deeper speaking voice. And I mean, I can sing a little bit, but I mean, you can tell he's so close to that mic. If you were to take the mic away, he would be pretty quiet. And that's not to say that he can't be louder. Of course he can. But it's a testament to just how difficult that is. Because if I were to try that, and I mean, listen, I'm not comparing myself to David Draiman, but I'm just saying, for someone with a low voice, if I was to go that soft, I wouldn't be able to make it sound so rich and full, and my voice would probably break at some point. And he's just sort of just settling in, nice and smooth and flowy. That said, it's phenomenal what you hear. That said, I think we can all agree that you started to hear him go up just a little bit more and just put just a little bit more power behind it there, but right before I paused, and it started to sound a little bit more, I'm going to say confident, but that's not to say that he didn't sound confident with that lower, softer tone. It's just, maybe it's that because that's what we're closer to what we know David Draiman to be, with some of the louder, more like heavier, harsher Disturbed. But that was great. Oh, let's go back just a little bit more.
In the night and touch the sound of silence.
Nothing moving on his face at all.
And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. disturb the sound of silence.
Okay. Also, really quickly, one of the things that I've always loved about David Draiman, I mean, whether it's this or in Disturbed, is his diction. I mean, he's very, very careful and specific and deliberate with how he says his consonants and how he wraps up each word, and it makes it feel more direct and more not confrontational, but intentional, I should say.
No one dare disturb the sound of silence. Fools say that you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows.
I love the drums.
Hear my words and I might teach you. Take my arms and I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed.
Oh, see how deep and gravelly that was? We're going to talk about that at the end. I just want to hear it again. Oh my God.
Echoed in the wells of silence.
Watch what he does with his nose. He scrunches his nose.
And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign lashed out its warning. And the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, whispered in the sound of silence.
Oh my gosh. I don't want that face, Darren. Let's go. Hey, there we go. So, holy Moses. That was incredible. That was remarkable. And I didn't, it finally dawned on me there at the end. He did that whole thing sitting down. He did that sitting down. Because I was gonna say, I noticed, if you notice, as he started to kind of push a little bit more, because that whole song was built essentially as a crescendo, right? It started off slow and then he started climbing that ladder, right? And you could see towards the end, he put his other hand on the mic. And we've talked about that before. There's different things that vocalists do, depending on the song, depending on the environment, depending on their position, depending on, their own personal preference, that can make them feel comfortable and grounded. And that assuredly, I can assure you, that was one, especially if he's sitting down. I can't imagine that's what the lead singer of Disturbed is used to doing. But, I mentioned him kind of scrunching his nose. He did that every single time he generated more of that like raw, gravelly, harsh, distorted voice. And I think that's a really interesting thing, because that perhaps, I don't know if he does that. I don't know if he does that when he's on his feet, like in a Disturbed concert. He might. That might just be his thing. But it sounded so, this is going to sound weird, but those raw, harsh, gravelly vocals sounded so clean. They sounded so precise and deliberate and controlled. And one of my favorite things is actually learning about, you know, how these sounds are created. And one of my favorite people of all time, I'm sure you've all seen her, Elizabeth from the Charismatic Voice. She's amazing. If you've been living under a rock like me with Disturbed and you haven't heard of her, go and check her out, subscribe. She's the greatest. But one of my favorite things she says is how she describes the vocal, your vocal folds or vocal cords, you know, operating when you phonate. And she describes them as going waka, 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 right? Now, when you make these harsh vocals, they're not just going waka, 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 like really, really hard. Okay. That's how you damage your voice. Okay. They're not necessarily changing that much, but rather things are being added in with, you know, some of the tissues above the focal, the true folds, with some of the false folds. You know, maybe instead of waka, 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 now maybe it's waka, shake, waka, shake, waka, shake, waka, shake. All right. And that's how you introduce some of that grit and distortion into it. And I'm guessing the nose scrunching is David's way of getting to that point. Certainly while sitting in a chair, but maybe just in general. I'll have to go back and look at some of Disturbed's other like live performances. But this was tremendous. It was powerful and composed, and again, just how he climbs that ladder, having a natural, like, I don't want to, as someone who's not a true, like a vocal coach, as opposed to a vocal strength coach, I don't want to go and assign a specific like tone or like, oh, you know, he's definitely this. But I mean, he sounds very baritone-like, and climbing that ladder and hitting some of those lighter, higher notes. I mean, it did kind of make me think a little bit of what I hear with Diana Ankudinova, and just naturally deeper voices, but being able to flip up effortlessly and still retain all of that fullness with the voice. Just phenomenal. I hesitate. Normally this is the part where I ask, like, tell me where to go next. But I mean, I think I know what Disturbed is. I'll tell you what, if there are any David Draiman covers or Disturbed songs after like 2008, after that Indestructible album that you want to see me react to, let me know. Or just anything in general. I don't know if Conan went on a streak with like a lot of really, really good musical artists. But yeah, let me know, because this was awesome and powerful. And, you know, I think I may have heard the original version of this maybe once. But I can assure you I didn't enjoy it even 1% of how much I enjoyed this. So thank you so much for pointing me in this direction. Please make sure you go and subscribe to this channel. All right. It means a lot to me. I don't do this for money. I do it to connect with you guys. And that's how I know you want to see more of something, or you really enjoyed something. So like the video, subscribe, and comment down below. Tell me what you want to see next. Have a good one.